Hi there, welcome. Today I am making some croissants, and this is going to be the second time. The first time I made it, I did the shortened version, the quick version. This time I'm going to do it the way the professionals suggest that it's done. So I am going to be starting with my dough. For my dough, I have 4 2/3 cups of flour, 11% gluten producing flour. I'm going to add my flour and then I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. I'm going to add a third cup of sugar and a packet of dry yeast. So that's 2 1/4 teaspoons. Now I'm going to make a well in here so that I can pour my water and my milk. I'm combining 3/4 cups of water to 1/2 cup of whole milk. And I'm going to pour that in here. Then I'm going to use my dough hook, so in goes the milk. This is probably one of the most difficult recipe to do and do it well. So I'm going to take a crack at it, doing it the professional way. The last time I did it, I wouldn't say unprofessional, but for me, that was a shortcut because I just didn't want to go through this long process. It is a long process. It's going to take at least 24 hours because of you have to fold and roll and fold and roll because it's going to look like, or it should look like a book. And that's my goal. So I am going to take my time and do this. So I'm starting today and I'm going to finish it up tomorrow and I'll show you the entire process. So here we go with using our hook. This is what our dough looks like. It's not smooth, a little rough on the edges, but I think it is in a good place. So we are gonna let it rest. Now I'm gonna add my butter. The dough has rested. I'm gonna incorporate the butter. I did not add salt to this dough because this butter I'm using is a European butter that is salted. I'm adding a quarter. So I'm adding a 1/4 cup of butter to the dough. This is Kerrygold butter. It's a higher content butter, less water in it. That is what is recommended for this recipe. So you can get the best quality croissant that you're looking for. So this is salted butter, and that's the reason why I didn't add any salt. Let's get back to dough has absorbed the butter. So now I'm going to roll it into a bowl for it to sit out and rise. Now, butter is absorbed into the dough nicely. Now we're going to make it into a ball. And yes, I've washed my hands. So for all the people like to talk about, use your gloves. So I saw a professional chef did this, and I'm going to do it. It's a hack. She said, when you do this, it helps the dough to rise even more. So I'm going to cut it this way, open it up this way, and then this way. Don't know if my knife is not sharp enough, but this will work. And then I am going to put this back into this bowl. I'm going to cover it. Croissants are all about the butter, so we need to make a square out of these. This is a cup and a half of butter. This is Kerrygold. It's European style butter is recommended for this recipe. That's what we're doing. And now I'm gonna just beat this until I get it into the softened to get it to the shape that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna just beat my butter because it's supposed to be a block. I want it to be about 8 inches. When I say beat it, we're just gonna lightly beat it, and we're gonna so I also want to get it to be squared, as I've said before, 8 inches or more. So I had to get out my ruler so I could get my 8 by 8, my measurements correct, because I am dealing with a very delicate recipe and I want to get it right. So based on my measurements, my barrage, or whatever it's called, the French term for it, should be this size. So I'm going to fill in these gaps in here. Oh, come on. Lightly roll. We're not pressing too hard, even though I did do that with this. But the goal is to get the butter over here in the corner. And then after I've accomplished that, I can get it all leveled. And this, my friends, is why I did not want to do this version, because it's a lot of work. However, if you can do it and get it right, then you're a star. And I want to be a star. I want to say I did that. So here's my butter block. I must say, I feel accomplished. I am gonna let this sit in the refrigerator. Perfect. I think I've gotten it. Now I need to put it in the refrigerator to firm up. So I can, when the dough rises, it'll be ready. By then, the dough should be also in the refrigerator to finish the proofing process. Let's put this in the refrigerator. The dough is now risen. It's double in size. It looks like. Now we need it to be like really, really cold, much colder than the butter. So I'm gonna take it out of here. Gonna put this in the wrap. Gonna roll it a little bit into a nice little slab just so it's even. We're gonna put this in the fridge, in the freezer actually, so it can firm up. Now I have my butter and my dough. My dough needs to be 2 times the length of my butter. The length of the dough needs to be the 2 times the size of the butter, but the width needs to be the same. So we're gonna start our laminating process. So here we're gonna put a little flour on the dough. We don't want to put too much. And we're gonna start the process of rolling it out. We don't want to roll it too hard because we don't want the butter to start leaking out. Start by beating it the same way we did when we were doing the butter. Now we're gonna fold our butter in, lock it in. We are also gonna pinch it. And we're also gonna lock the sides in, just to make sure the butter doesn't seep out. So we're gonna pinch the sides. Okay, so I didn't realize that I was not recording earlier. So here I am, I started rolling out my dough. I'm trying to get this huge slab that I want to be. Okay, one final roll here, and then I'm gonna fold my dough. I've gotten the slab that I'm looking for. And my dough is getting a little warm. Yeah, I'm at 1/4 of an inch, a little bit below that here. So, okay, so I'm cutting off the edges. So there you have it. Now we are going to do our fold. I'm going to fold it halfway in. Okay, so now we've done the fold. This fold is called the book. And now we're going to let the dough rest again. So I've done my first turn, and I'm going to put it back in the refrigerator to proof and to rest before I do the second turn. Okay, let's wrap this up and put it in the refrigerator for an hour or so. Now we're going to let it refrigerate for an hour. Now we're going to do the second turn. So I'm going to dust my dough that's firmed up. I'm going to roll it out again. I'm going to put some flour in there, and then I'm going to remove the excess flour. Okay, I think I've gotten the thickness that I'm looking for, and also the length. So I am going to do the next turn, which is called a simple turn. And on that turn, I'm just going to do it like I'm folding a letter. Edges tend to round, so you just got to try to shape it square as best as you can. Okay, so let's fold it into a third. Now I'm going to put it back in plastic wrap. And then I'm going to give it a little whack before I put it in the freezer and then in the fridge. This is actually my final turn. It's day 2 and we are moving closer to baking our croissants. We're going to start with rolling, cutting, and proofing the dough. The first step is, according to the professionals, we need to have somewhere to proof it, which is going to be the oven. And I am going to be setting a saucepan with some boiled water in the oven to create that perfect environment for them to proof. And then I'll proceed to cutting the dough to form the croissants. So here's our saucepan with the water. enough steam has built up, so I'm going to turn the burner off, and then I'm going to put that in the oven. And while that's in the oven, I'm going to be cutting the dough. So here I have my dough. I'm going to dust it. With some flour. Very, very light dusting of, I almost said snow, flour. And we are going to just roll it out. A little slight roll. I think I see you got an air bubble, so I'm gonna just stick it. Okay, now I'm gonna cut the edges off because I would like to have even sides. So I am going to use my ruler. Actually going to use my ruler so I can get even pieces. Now I'm going to extend the ruler across to cut my pieces. Uh-oh. To follow the line. Okay. And then we are going to cut them diagonally to get our triangles. Maybe I should do it this way. Okay. There we have it. We have one, it's 5 pieces times 2, so that's going to be 10. And we are now going to stretch this and roll. Oh, we don't want to roll them too hard. Set them on our tray. Here's my cutter. We're just gonna roll them gently but firmly, if that's a thing. You don't want to roll them tightly. I think I may need another sheet. So there we have it. Okay, so I'm going to cover these with cling wrap, and I'm going to cover them loosely so that they can rise. They will go into the oven to proof for 3 hours. Okay, so here are my croissants that I've proofed. They are huge. I am now going to take my time to lift it off because these are supposed to be very delicate. Now I'm going to put these back in the refrigerator. The actual proof time on these was 2.5 hours. So I'm going to put them in the refrigerator to slow down the proofing process. Then I'm going to put egg wash on them and bake them So while the oven is being preheated, these are gonna sit in the refrigerator. So that's gonna be maybe 30 minutes. I don't know how long the oven takes to preheat. I've never really think about it. I just set it to preheat and it preheats and I'm ready to go. But I'm actually gonna, now that I've said that, see how long the oven takes to preheat. The oven is preheated. I am going to do my egg wash. It's going to be an egg yolk and a tablespoon of heavy cream. And we are going to put this on our croissants. Hopefully I'll get a beautiful golden brown color when it's done. So now I'm going to be super gentle because these are very delicate. So we just want to paint them on here. You want to be gentle. Just brushing the top. Just brushing here when we're not getting into the, our goal is to not get into the crevices. We may, unfortunately, but see, I've made a boo-boo there. But then I can just brush it off here and here. Into the oven we go. So here we have it. Our croissants are finished, and I've already eaten one. I am going to cut into this to see if I get the same effects that I'm told we should have when you make a croissant. So I'm going to cut into one of these. These are flaky. I am extremely proud of myself. So there we have it. We've got that look, that desired look. Thank you for watching. Bye.